It is now 11:12, but that's okay. It was at 11:11 when I hit live stream. My name's Geri from godislovetruthlife.com or godislovetruthfreedom.com, because a life without freedom is not a life worth living. I'm also one of the lead organizers for soundpath.org, and I'm excited to have Brendan Daniel here, our one of our headliners for Soundpath. Welcome.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we met at Pork Fest through Richard Grove, and I was just firstly immediately struck by you as a human being. You're a good human, man. You're a good human. And I'm just going to share with the world this one story. As a, single mom with two kids running around a campsite with tons of people. It's my first time at Pork Fest. I had my back turned, and like one of my kids, my toddler, was running into the golf cart thing, and then you saw it and you did the right thing and you helped him, get out of the way of the golf carts, man. And that's like how I judge people. And you happen to be a talented musician with like freedom lyrics and truth lyrics on top of it. But firstly, you're a great human being, and I just wanted to share that with the world.
Thank you. Yeah, likewise. Well, yeah, that's what Pork Fest is all about. Just looking after each other. So that was easy decision to make. It can be hard to see too. I think it was actually a bigger car kind of going through one of those smaller roads. It's like a lot of blind spots. So, and you're like shuffling with your tent. That's what's great about Pork Fest though. It's like when everybody's looking after each other. So that was cool to meet you guys. That was a good week. A wild week, but a good week.
Yeah, and you were performing like every day.
Yeah, I threw my voice out pretty hard within those first 3 days. I think I was partying a little too hard the first 3 days, and then my bandmates and Red Pill friends showed up and got my ass in gear, and we pulled off a couple of pretty good shows, I felt.
Yeah, it was lovely to see you as a solo artist as well as one as part of an ensemble. You hold your own in both really well. You work well with others musically, supporting them, and then also as a solo artist. So very cool to see you in both roles.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys caught that. I had a little bit more of my voice left too when I played that solo gig over at Richards. So.
I think towards the end of the week, I literally saw you drinking honey straight from a jar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a question from Sarah Cross, my dear friend. Who did the crochet blanket on your chair?
This was a gift from my cousin. Aww. Yeah, she makes blankets, and I was like complimenting her blankets, and then she was like gave me one, and I was going up to Nashville, or going down to Nashville to visit my brother, and their place was on the way, so we stopped by, and I was just complimenting it. She gifted me one before I left, which I was super stoked about. It's beautiful too. It's got all sorts of colors. My favorite colors.
Aww.
Yeah.
And Sarah says, radical, beautiful work. She is a professional seamstress, as well as one of the lead faculty for the online program that we're launching this year for the Liberation Academy Education. She is writing amazing work for teachers as well as students on the trivium and the quadrivium. So she's, awesome. Just a lovely human being on many levels. Yeah. So back to you. So you mentioned that you are traveling to Tennessee. You're living in New Hampshire. And then you have an upcoming show that we need to plug.
Yeah. So yeah, well, I guess I could just tell my story, I suppose.
Yeah.
I was in a band with my brothers, which is like how my musical career got started. I'm the youngest of 3 other siblings, 2 of which are brothers, and I was in a band with called Town Meeting. We're still in a band technically, but we don't play that often. But anyways, during Porkfest or during the COVID nonsense, I didn't refuse to participate in a lot of the things that a lot of other people were happy to participate in. So it put me in a situation where I wrote all of these departed from the band and did my own solo thing, in which then I went to Porkfest with all these new songs that I had written in the midst of this stuff. And I met Mike, who's a fellow songwriter, and he recorded all of my music right then and there at the festival in the parking lot. Yeah, so that was just talk about being in the right place at the right time, meeting the exact person you're supposed to meet. Natural law, right? I mean, it's just perfect. Everything was exactly the way it was supposed to be. And because of that, I have this CD now. I have music out there. And so I met him. He's also in the same situation, incredible songwriter, dealing with the same type of stuff that I was dealing with. He was even more immersed in the music industry because he had been in it like 10, 20 years longer than I had. So I met him, and then through him, I met another songwriter named Jude Roberts, who's an incredible singer and songwriter. And the three of us formed a band called the Red Pill Friends, and started off as like a songwriters in the round type of deal because we were all different songwriters and whatnot, and kind of just organically formed into more of a band. So the Porkfest was our first show that we played, this most recent one, Porcupine Freedom Fest there in Lancaster, New Hampshire. And we have an upcoming show, to lead back to the original pitch, in Northumberland, not Cumberland, Northumberland, New Hampshire, North Country, New Hampshire as well, called Freedom Palooza. And I sent you the link. I don't know if you want to share the link or whatever. And I'll be playing solo. Jude will also be playing solo. And then the three of us will be playing as Red Pill Friends. And then Mike will be playing with his band, The Mammals. So they're amazing too. It'll just be like a really great night of music. And Jody Shaw will be there too. She's incredible too. And Free State Acoustics. Lots of great stuff.
Awesome. And I'll make sure to drop this in the Soundpath Telegram chat, where we're also live streaming. I'm not sure what happened there with the Telegram live stream, but it should be up and running now. So yeah, I am very excited to also announce that you have an upcoming performance for Soundpath, with it seems like an odd mix, but we have you with Joe Murray, who is a Truth and Freedom rapper. He'll be working with Polar the White, and then you'll also be headlining on August 31st in Arnold's Family Fun Center in Oaks, Pennsylvania. We have a 400 capacity room. We plan on filling it. It's a fun space during the day if you have kids, or if you don't have kids, there's go-karts. Everyone loves go-karts. So it should be a good time.
Yeah. Who doesn't love go-karts?
So yeah, well, thank you so much for sharing your story and for talking about your Freedom Palooza performance coming up. I want to go back to hearing more about your influences musically. I'm imagining, since you have travels in both Tennessee as well as New Hampshire, there's certain influences there, right? What influences your music?
Mostly, I mean, I have like the classic influences that I feel like a lot of people have, like the greats of the past. Yeah, I recently was like learning a Tom Waits cover. I know a lot of people don't like Tom Waits, Frank Zappa. I listened to a lot of the Grateful Dead at a certain point, and then like I grew up not really listening to a lot of like mainstream music. And then I fell in pretty hard to like a lot of the jam music, and then fell pretty hard into like folk music. And Mike, my bandmate, was in, he got me like into Pete Seeger and Woody Guthrie and a lot of those original, like, folk scene, Bob Dylan, freaking all of them, Chris Christopherson, yeah, I loved Neil Young for a while. You know, people's politics change and get wonky. You know, like we all saw what happened with like Rage Against the Machine and all these different bands. I love grunge. I love Alice in Chains. Blind Melon is pretty much my go-to. Beck. I listen to absolutely everything. Billy Strings. I listen to everything that can be listened to. Anything that opens my heart, makes me feel good, like I feel connected to. I'm open to all of it, pretty much. Mostly just, yeah, nature, I guess, is my biggest influence of all. Going out for like
Mm.
walks and hikes and stuff like that. That's usually where all the good stuff comes from in terms of writing a song. But yeah, all the influences.
I love that. And I'm hearing the birds in the background for you. It's so lovely.
Yeah, hope it's not too loud when cars drive by. I could close the windows if it gets too loud.
Oh, no worries. I actually find a sort of spaciousness in your work that I imagine is influenced by your environment that you're in. Having grown up in New England myself, familiarizing myself with the New Hampshire area in childhood as well. I think about how um, even just with you doing, your solo project work with your guitar, your voice, and your harmonica, it's like it feels so full, even though it's just, those three instruments. Um, and to be able to create that fullness. And it's great that you have ensemble work too with Red Pill Friends, but I'm just saying, um, yeah, I just feel a certain sense of spaciousness in your work that it's hard to describe right now, but
Thank you. Yeah.
yeah. I also love that you mentioned your sort of grunge work too, because I hear it in your vocals and it's a little bit different to hear sort of like grungy, like guttural sort of singing in
Yeah.
like the folk realm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, people will say that a lot. They're like, "I love your raspiness," and I'm like, "Cool," because I lost my voice. I have to work as hard now, so
Yeah.
that feels good. I feel like that. Yeah, that's I'm not classically trained or anything like that. I didn't go to school to learn any instrument. I'm left-handed, so it was kind of a challenge to even play guitar. For the most part, growing up, I had to teach myself that. Had to find left-handed guitars, which isn't as easy as you'd think it would be. And so yeah, having that and then the harmonica just kind of came naturally to me. I've never learned logistically how to play that. I think they say something about like, being left-handed, you use more of your right brain or something like that. I don't know how much truth is in that, but I certainly feel like that. I've always been very creative, more creative than logistic type of thinking. So harmonica and just like, playing three, four chords, doing some creative writing. It's all just stuff that's come naturally to me. So having the compliment about the raspiness is just great because I certainly don't have any vocal training or, you know. So when I sing with my brothers, my other brother, he can sing like falsetto, real high pitch notes and stuff like that. But I like to hang out in my range, and as long as you can, it's all about what you say, not how you say it, right? So, thank you.
Absolutely. And I also want to touch on before we listen to some of your music. And I'm excited to hear the sneak peek live performance that we're about to have from you. Um, so I want to, yeah, talk about your lyrics. Clearly, as we're going to hear from your recorded work as well, you put a lot of thought into lyrics, and specifically why I was sort of struck by you as a musician, firstly as a human being and secondly as a musician. I was like, wow, I need to get this guy on Soundpath. Like he's amazing with the lyrics. What influences your lyrics?
Well, obviously, like I said, nature, but for the most part, I think it's just my experiences with a lot of young people in particular that I lost growing up through various different ways. I'm only in my early 30s, but from a very young age, I've had brushes with a lot of close people in my life passing away due to all sorts of different things, from suicide to pharmaceutical overdoses to murder to pretty much everything under the sun, like just cancer and these different types of things. So I think, like when people ask me, like, what was your first red pill moment? I think it was like the first time that I lost my close friend, passed away at a young age, that I just realized that there was an impermanence to life, and that you really only have a certain amount, that it's all about your expression, So the quicker you can get to the root of how you express your art and alchemize your gold out into the world, the better, because we don't really have as much time as we think we do. And we're always kind of taking for granted the time that we do have and the people that we are with, because you never know when they're going to be gone. So I think that has always influenced my life. And I grew up more mainstream Christian. I went to church. My parents brought me to church. I guess it's like Protestant. Wasn't very like, it wasn't, it was, I don't know how to describe it. They got all the denominations. The dogma religiousness is definitely something I have put to the wayside, but the spiritualness and all that stuff has stayed with me throughout my life. So yeah, I've just been influenced, I guess, a lot by that, because I had that whole sense of like the biblical upbringing. There's definitely a significant amount of biblical references in a lot of what I'm saying, which is basically a cult. And then, like learning a lot of different things, decoding the symbols and stuff. Like huge props to Mark Passio and in his wonderful way of, and a lot of other people who I've been fortunate enough, specifically during COVID too, to have these people kind of come across in my path. So in my solo stuff specifically, there's a lot more influence of those I don't want to say content creators, curators, people who have, authors, speakers, podcasters, so they've been influencing me a lot. And everybody just is, just the whole nature of what we're going through is really influencing my music, which is what I feel, especially meeting Mike and meeting Jude, these people who knew Pete Seeger, and they knew, like the whole scene of like what I think the whole folk singer songwriter thing should be about, which is, just like writing about what's happening in the world and connecting with each other through it. I feel like I'm rambling.
No, I'm just holding space for everything that you're saying, and I'm thinking about the amount of influencers on your music, because you have to think about the musical influences, and you have to think about the sort of like truth, freedom, consciousness, sort of philosophical, spiritual influence as well. And it's really amazing how you've alchemized all of that. Um, so you mentioned Mark Passio's work. What other sort of truth freedom influencers do you recommend in terms of work that's influenced you?
Boy, there's like such a long list. Yeah, well, I know Etienne de la Botte Squared. His book influenced me big time around writing organized crime, along with I start to draw blanks when I'm trying to remember names. Larkin Rose, his book as well, The Most Dangerous Superstition. There's also this guy, Mark Gober. He's got a series of books that are like really well done in terms of like kind of, getting a lot of people on board. But I mean, and then you go back, yeah, like I have a lot of respect for people like Passio, like, I mean, David Icke and Richard Grove and these guys specifically because of how long they've been doing this type of thing, and Maxwell and in organized crime, I mentioned like I have references to like James Shelby Downard and George Carlin's comedy, like I think I have like the Mark Twain quote in there. It's philosophical and all these different things.
You mentioned to me before we started going live that you did a show recently with comedians. What was that experience like for you?
Oh yeah, that was last night in Somerville. That was interesting. Yeah, I played one song. Comedy is like a specific group of comedies, and they do three sets throughout the night. So I just played a song before each of those comedy shows. So I just got to play one song, but it was great. It was cool. The night before that, I played at a brewery. It was like a 3 hour kind of background music gig. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that type of deal, but
Yeah,
it's great because everybody's together. My family comes out because it's local. So, and my sister and her kids, and like lots of people. But it's you're playing through a significant amount of chatter. But
sure.
the comedy show is very everybody's focal point. You're right there in the center of the room, and everybody's you got their attention. So that's always really cool. To have that, especially when you're a singer songwriter. Like you said, I don't have like a lot. I don't have like loop pedals or like anything fancy. So it's hard. If I'm not playing like the covers everybody knows, then it's hard to keep people's attention at that capacity. So yeah, it's interesting.
I do think that we're at an interesting point technologically, as well as like with AI coming in and the sort of like TikTok attention span that's being developed, and also thinking about music's ability to sort of bypass the sort of left brain, like defensive shadow ego that people may have when it comes to truth and freedom content, and also comedy's role in that as
Mm,
well. And I think about how, you know, back in the 20s, they knew that like for the vaudeville shows to pair music with comedy.
mm,
I think the two are very much a great way to kind of like bypass that like left brain shadow ego that people may have, and then just be able to bypass all that like brainwashed programming to get to the heart of things. What are your thoughts on the relationship between comedy and music?
yeah, I think that's right on. I think that's great. I think um, one of the most important things you can do in terms of dealing with some of these, like you said, shadow elements, dark, evil, horrible things, is to find a way to be able to open your heart and laugh. Because that's an expression of joy that I think energetically does more damage to the system than any amount of you know lecture or talks. Just your own anatomical expression of joy um, has a big impact on the world. So being able to laugh through that, certainly we've seen specifically through the whole COVID BS as in belief system.
Ooh.
uh, there's the comedy scene and the people that they stand up for that the right to free speech, right? I mean, that's everybody really needs that ability to be able to laugh about something, and if you really want to laugh about something, it needs to be authentic, and otherwise, it won't resonate in your soul. So I think comedy is like the key. And in terms of intertwining it into music, it's like, yeah, absolutely, because laughter in a way is singing. There's actually the last comedian. She also had a guitar and was an amazing singer, but like
Ooh.
her songs were very silly and like it was fun. I don't want to give away any of the bits, but let's just say she had a very silly song about riding on Pinocchio's.
Nice. Cool. I can go there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love this idea of joy as resistance, as an anatomical, like physical expression, out of the fear mindset. And I think about dance and music as that as well. Like whether you're physicalizing it through like the strumming of a guitar or through dance or however we express outward as a no to fear, and as a yes
Mm,
towards love and freedom,
yeah.
with our bodies somatically. And just I don't know where I'm going, but like you make me think about, yeah, joy as resistance as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess that's my thoughts on like intertwining music and comedy. Definitely is uh is the way to go, because it's all the muse.
Yeah, I also wanted to ask you a little bit about you had mentioned some uh, sort of soul journeying that you've been through with the loss of dear loved ones. And I'm also thinking about music's role with time that, you and I had talked about during Porkfest when we were hanging out, that like music is a way of playing with time in a way. And how do you, um, what are your thoughts on this topic?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is a quote that I don't know who to credit it to, but I do love the quote. And it's that if art is a way to decorate space, then music is a way to decorate time. And I don't know, I think that resonates with me incredibly. When you think about music, you think about the way that it can both positively and negatively affect culture and the way that we respond to it. When you think about it with a conspiracy lens, like my new song, MK Culture, has a lot to do with this, which maybe we'll save for the last or whatever. But yeah, yeah, it's yeah, time and music. I read a book recently written by the bass player Victor Wooten, and it's called The Music Lesson, and it's great. It's just all about that music, which I think etymologically is the mother of all cycles, like cycle and muse, mother. So it's like this way in which everything is music, everything resonates, everything vibrates and has a certain frequency, certain hertz. And so, like, everything quite literally is music. And I think tapping into that, certain journeys I've had psychedelically, certainly I've come to that realization where I can hear the world singing to me. And when I go out into nature, I can feel sometimes a certain different resonances and frequencies that certain plants have to offer, and the way that they heal my body in certain ways. It's just more apparent to me than ever that everything is music. And then dancing is in singing. That's it. Just though our very life is the expression of the experience of life, is the music, the dancing. Everything we do is a dance to the music of life, of creativity.
Dude, like literally when you were playing one night with Red Pill Friends, I just felt called to like do dance ritual like right then and there. Like I used the bonfire in the background. I used the wet air, the water in the air, and
Yeah,
then
the
I
mountain air.
grounded myself with my feet, and I just used your guys' lyrics and music, and I just kept moving that energy up, towards the stars. Because like you guys, I feel like your music is just so on point with that truth frequency. And yeah, like anything that I can do as a sort of like um just lighthearted, you know, dancer, magician, to just bring that up forward with the cosmos.
Yeah, no, I love it. Yeah, nothing makes me feel happier as a musician than seeing people dancing. You know, that's what it's all about. Or singing along. Mike has a specific part where, I mean, that's why I wrote that song Harmony, in part is because of everything we've been talking about. It's that guy Pete Seeger, his whole Teaspoon Brigade thing. This guy who kind of went, he's got a lot on his belt in terms of like, being involved with human rights and standing up for free speech and all these different things. And when asked what he thinks the most important thing is in his life that he has ever done, is teaching people to sing together. So I just think that that's great, because that's that generative principle. When we're in unison with that joy, it's like it's impactful. So when we dance together, everybody's expressing that together. It's just incredible. It's the truth behind freedom. But anyways, you want to play some of my music? I could talk forever.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so I'm gonna share.
I'm curious
my
which version of organized crime you have. Is it because I have a few different versions? Is it the live one from Egremont or?
Let's find out. Okay,
All right,
so I'm
cool.
sharing my screen. Share this window. Okay, so do you see this?
Yep.
Okay. Is this the one?
Yeah, this is live. Cool.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. No sound.
Oh shit, no sound. Fuck. Okay.
I didn't know if that was just because I didn't have headphones.
Fuck.
It's all good.
We're live, guys.
I'm glad you're saying the F word though, because after I mentioned that joke by the comedian, I was like, oh, I don't know if this is like a kid-friendly podcast. I should have asked about that.
Oh yeah, my kids aren't around. Oh man. Well, how do honey, I'm having a technical moment. Oh goodness. Reduce background noise. Oh my God. Okay, so John's gonna help me. So what do I do here? I need the music. Share screen.
Right. Video file.
Video file.
I'm gonna tune
Oh, yeah, you're doing it from.
Well, I actually have it on video file.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely do it this way.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to yell over your live.
Okay, let's do it this way. Is it working now?
Yeah,
Can you
now
hear
I
it?
hear it.
Yes. Fucking yes.
I don't think that this ever existed. Put the cart before the horse. The 6 foot pawn of distance and the damage that's been done. The government, the gun that shoots to save us. And I don't need the pills and vaccinations. I got all the air to breathe. The sunshine on my face is just like medicine to me. Why do we compete with Mother Nature? Well, war is hell, a weapon of taxation. It's been poison in the well. I wonder how they made it so that we could hardly tell the difference between slavery and salvation. All through the turning, all through the turning of time. Let's call it what it is. It's organized crime. All through the turning, all through the turning of time.
Let's call it what it is. It's organized crime. For it's easier to trick somebody than it is to convince them that they've been tricked. So pick your tribe, but your choice is an illusion. It's just two sides of the toss, the red one and the blue one. Yeah, they'll televise the fight and demonetize the revolution. Well, history is written by the victors. It's the killing of the king, the sacrificial victim, and the club that you're not in. The power that's corrupted absolutely. All through the turning, all through the turning of time. Let's call it what it is. It's organized crime. There's only three things that no one can hide. It's the sun and the moon and the truth about organized crime. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you.
That's one of my most favorite songs of yours. Of course, you have others, including The Hills We Die On, which I'm about to play. But I would love to hear your process for writing this song. It's perfect on so many levels, but I'd love to hear how the song came about for you.
Yeah. Thank you. There's certainly the raspiness there in that version of that song, no doubt. I thank you very much. So yeah, I actually, funny enough, just randomly found the old parts of the notebook where I was working this song out. But it was shortly after I read Etienne's book, which is all stuff that I am familiar with because of, like I said, the nature of content that I was really diving pretty deep into during, that time period where the powers that be were trying to lock everybody down and lie to everybody with a multi-trillion dollar budget. So yeah, I had nothing, but I was just going deep into all of these things and just kind of, I think, giving a second pass through Etienne's book, and I had met him my first Pork Fest before I'd even met Mike, and we just became fast friends. His energy was just like so, just vibed great with me. His excitement, his just love towards life, and I met his friends there too. His his childhood friends. So there was just like a almost like a family type of connection, just within the few minutes that I had met the guy. So that was very cool. And then so yeah, having his book was kind of like special to me. I wanted to kind of like um, not necessarily like write him a song, but like put something out there that I know that because he helped push the Hills We Die On song, and he like shared it on his Substack, and he's done a lot to kind of help me out and help out Red Pill friends and stuff. So I think that was the line of thinking where I had, you never really know when a song idea is going to come. Sometimes it's like you just get struck by lightning. You never know when it's going to happen. But yeah, it just came to me. And I think I'd watched this like a Steve Falconer video on like, like, what's it called? Just like how I forget the exact terminology, but like how basically the human body and astrology are like the same, like deeply connected, like cell salts and I don't know. Someone out there is like, anyways, there's a correct term for it somewhere out there, whatever. It's all labels and names. But I just watched that video too, which is where the whole like cart before the horse kind of line came from, because I was just the whole type of like cognitive dissonance thinking that was going on at that time. Like not doing anything that was actually good for your health in terms of like what's really good for you energetically, spending time with each other, hugs, being able to see people's mouths and face, like there was there's actual science out there to actually prove that was what we should be doing. Certainly not isolating ourselves inside and staying away from vitamin D and injecting ourselves with poisons from criminal companies. But that's what we were being told. So there was a high level of cognitive dissonance going on. And I think that was what I was really trying to point a finger on when I was writing the song. And I'm very proud of it. I feel really good about it. I love it a lot. I think it says a good amount about how I feel. The government, the gun that shoots to save us, which is a big theme in a lot of the stuff I write. We're often led along under the guise of something good, but good intentions pave the path to hell. And yeah, it's just be discerning, be your own authority. Don't be led along. It's easier to trick somebody than to convince them that they've been tricked, because we don't want to admit, we don't want to look at the shadow. We don't want to do all these things, and that require work, that require hard work for the self. But that's what we all are. It's all, we're all connected. So yeah, I don't know. I guess that's where that song was coming from, like little pieces of everything, like I said, the George Carlin line, the big club that you're not in. And then like I thought that it was finished, and I went for a walk with my dog, and that last line came in with that, like, oh, there's only three things no one can hide: the sun, the moon, and the truth about organized crime. And then that was like a nice little extra lightning bolt, I guess. And yeah, I really like that line, and I feel really good about that song. Thank you for playing it. That's a good version too. That's from the Egremont barn that Nick Keene captured. Great spot too in Egremont, Massachusetts. Highly recommend.
Cool. Wow. So much there. I just feel like genuine care radiating from you. You really care about humanity. You really are upset, justifiably angry at what's going on, and you're alchemizing that care and that justifiable anger, and you're transmuting it into like really great music that is going to activate others. Like that's fucking amazing to do. Because I'm finding it even in myself, like sometimes like I'll feel so angry that like I'll blow out my voice because I'm just so pissed off. And then
Mm-hmm.
like how effective am I going to be as a truth speaker when I'm doing that to myself, to my own, you know, body vessel. And then, but you're practicing really like healthy vocal hygiene, and you're just like, anyway, I'm just, yeah, just want to talk about like what are your thoughts on what I just shared?
Yeah, I just drink jars of honey. That's my vocal hygiene. Yeah, no, I think that's great. Yeah, I think that's what it's all about. You got to find a way. You have to find a healthy outlet to take all that justified anger and frustration, because that's what's going to be used against you. All that stuff is that 5D war, the psychological warfare, the demoralization campaign against us. You know, our louche, our precious energy being directed towards puppets, imaginary people who really, without our energy and attention, couldn't do anyone any harm. So,
Right. They cannot generate.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying all that. Yeah, that's kind of where it's at. That's, and I feel fortunate to, you know, have, like I said, I didn't really like put in work to learn to sing or play instruments. I feel like it was, you know, like a gift from God, so to speak. I'm not trying to pinpoint things on any type of specific religion. If that's the word you want to use. I think of God, you know, God backwards is dog. So I think about like dogma, and like the way that religion is like kind of the inversion of what God truly is, and how that's been used as like a power hierarchical structure to actually do the opposite work. And no offense to anyone who is involved in any type of religion. I think that there's good and bad in everything. But so yeah, I think that whatever it is, whatever God is, has granted me in this particular lifetime, this wonderful gift where I can share, exactly like you said, this justified anger, but also like a deep love and a care in form of song. And that's one of the best ways to be able to do it. And if you can do it through comedy, if you can do it through painting, if you can do it through, there's any expression. But I just feel, yeah, it's super cool to be able to do it through music. And that's just been a pretty cool journey so far. So I'm just excited about where it's going to go and what's going to happen with it. And, you know, hopefully always have that insight to know that it's just, you know, it's a gift in some way. So you have to share it.
Sorry for the background noise for the clock, if you're picking up on that.
Yeah. That was nice.
I was trying to remember what song that jingle was from. Anyway, I'm thinking about the divine feminine of, you know, the generative principle care. And I'm also thinking of the divine masculine of like, you know, justified anger, like boundaries, like, you know, self-defense, and how music is like the great alchemical marriage of both of those.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Yeah. I'm a Virgo too, so I don't know if maybe that has something to do with the ability to express that feminine, you know, type. It's like I don't know, maybe there's something there.
Yeah, I have a lot of masculine traits, I guess, in my natal chart. And I do feel a certain sense of like, oh yeah, I agree. I was thinking about this too, the inversion of God. Yeah. Also Ma, you know, Ma'at, nature, in Egyptian. So in the inversion of nature, you know, dog, Ma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I forget what I was saying. Do you want to listen to another song?
Yeah, let's cue it up. Let's do
I
Blue Die On.
Yeah. Okay, so video file. Okay, so we're gonna go to Soundpath. All right, here we go. Hopefully the sound works.
We've been best friends ever since.
Are you hearing the sound?
That's how much I love
Yep.
this song.
It sounds a lot better to have these guys on it now. We didn't land on the moon in 1969. They lied about it. But I know that hill and I know they'll kill and die on it. Plant their flag on it. Tell me who killed who and for what reasons, for what views, disguises. But I know that hill and I know they'll kill and die on it. They can fight on it. These are the hills. These are the hills we'll die on. It's where we plant our flag and what we will not change our minds on. These are the hills we'll die on. Science, and I know that hill and I know they'll kill and die on it, test and try on it. We didn't need to be deceived about solutions to disease and violence. But I know that hill and I know they'll kill and die on it. They'll prescribe on it. These are the hills. These are the hills we'll die on. It's where we plant our flag and what we will not change our minds on. These are the hills that we will kill and die on. And so the curtain had been drawn, the news behind it. Well, I know that hill and I know we'll kill and die on it, 'cause they rely on us. These are the hills. These are the hills we die on. It's where we plant our flag and what we will not change our minds on. These are the hills that we will kill and die on. We didn't land on the moon in 1969.
I wanted to make sure to include that applause because that's such a great song.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me about your composition process for this one.
Well, that's the proper introduction to the Red Pill Friends, I suppose, right there. That's Mike, Miranda, and Jude Roberts there with me. Um, this song, "The Hills We Die On," has a lot to do, I guess, with what we've been talking about the whole time. It's one of the first ones I wrote after my separation for that time period with my band and my brothers. I figured I would just kind of come out the gate swinging with the whole "We Didn't Land on the Moon" in 1969. But the real point of the song or the poem or the expression of what that song's trying to emulate is I mean it's sometimes seen in different ways. My friend Ben, does the Terrain Theory podcast with Mike, they've got a podcast. It's great. I listen to it all the time. And he talks about when he first heard the song, it was like how he heard "The Hills We Die On," like injection for him was like the hill he was gonna he was never gonna, that was the hill he was gonna die on, and that was kind of the thing that sparked him into getting into all the things. So, but that wasn't really necessarily what I was thinking about when I wrote the song, but I'm happy that there can be multiple interpretations. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of like the art of the songwriting process. So it's like, it's just vague enough, but also kind of like on the nose with the moon landing thing, just trying to get into the nature of conspiracy. But it's a lot of like, I think that last line, if everyone is wrong and the curtain has been drawn, then who's behind it? And then I changed the phrasing to "we." I know that hill, and I know we will kill and die on it. And because, like I said, it's like the time and energy. It's like they rely on us. And someone just said in the comments there, they can try and bury us, but we are the seeds. And I thought that was beautiful. But it's like that. So like, yeah, truthfully, they can, they rely on our energy and our loosh and our generative principle in order to really get anything done. So that's the heart of the song is kind of in that last line. And I felt pretty good too about that second verse too, the everyone's along under the guise of science. And when I sing it now, I actually change the second verse. I say, "We didn't need to be deceived about solutions to disease and violence, but I know that hill and I know they'll kill and die on it." And then I say, "They'll prescribe on it." So if you see me live, you'll hear that change in lyric. Yeah, I feel really good about that song. Mike claims that it's the best song ever written. And he's my favorite songwriter ever. So that makes me feel really good, especially to have those guys by my side. Like I said, they're like my mentors, and I'm hugely influenced by them. And it feels really cool to have, just to be almost rewarded in that sense by the universe, by putting myself out there in that way, to have met these guys and to be able to kind of build a stronger connection. A threefold is stronger than just one, so to speak. So that's been really cool. And I think that that's been encouraging and inspiring despite all the craziness that goes on in the external matrix. Yeah, and we're going to keep doing shows. We're going to keep getting together. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if Mike and Jude are available, of course, we can figure out arrangements on October 31st. But we could talk about that offline, but just putting that out there because Joe Murray's bringing his artist colleague, Proler the White, for his performance. So I don't see why, like, if you want to do a few songs with, Red Pill Friends as well.
Oh yeah,
that's always an option.
I'll see if they're available. They're pretty busy guys, but I'll definitely see if I could get if they're available.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome. It's always better to play with them, I think. I mean, I love doing stuff by myself, but it's just it's hard to describe. It's just amazing to have people back you up. It feels really cool.
Yeah, I was actually just talking to my friend Meg today about how there's this sort of like front-facing aspect of things, but then you don't really think about like, okay, well, you have like three in the red pill friends, but like, what about the girlfriends who've been, cooking lunch for them, or
Right.
the healers that, get rid of the shoulder cramps from, holding the guitar a certain way,
Yep.
or the beekeeper that gave that honey jar to the singer,
Yep.
the promoter, the flyer,
Yeah.
distributor on the street for the show. We need masterminds. We need a group collective effort. I
Yeah.
would not be able to do Soundpath without people like John, Theo, Meg, not Dustin. That's Dustin's for the Liberation Academy. Sorry, I'm like getting my projects mixed up. Derek, excuse me. Nathan Webb. I mean, there's so many people that are helping in the
Mhm.
background that may not necessarily be on camera every time. And so, yeah, just I do agree that the hill that we are dying on is one of truth and freedom. And I hope that this festival transcends the space time by virtue of doing it, we're going to manifest it eternally. And the music that we're going to showcase, like that song that we just played, is like that's going to be forever. Like that's in the timeline now. You know what I mean?
It's great. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, yeah. It's all systems thinking, exactly like you said. There's they don't give ourselves enough credit as human beings. We're all involved in this greater way. I think even if just to spend a little time a day thinking about that and encouraging it, and to help empower it, for sure. It takes a village.
Yeah, and I think at least for me, like becoming a mom, like I don't know, like there's something just kind of got activated and on like the mitochondrial DNA level where I was just like, I'm part of this fucking like maternal lineage going this way, like this back and this forward. Like I'm like part of that. And then like realizing that like it wasn't even just in my own lineage, but it was just like in the human mother collective, and then just realizing like I just developed this sort of like generational mindset where like I want this festival like I want one of like my kids or like their friends or whoever to like take over this festival when I'm gone, when you're gone, finding, your let's say nieces and nephews who want to pick up the guitar next,
Mhm.
like that's the level that I'm at where I'm always like in that mindset, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
And it's hard to relate to people on a certain level that may not be in that like long-term mindset, but it's cool that, yeah, much love. Yes, right people coming together. I agree. Okay, let's hear this next song, which we're gonna experiment as a live
yeah,
performance. What do you think?
yeah.
Should we
Let's
try it?
let's close on this last song, I suppose. This
Do you
is a
want to maybe
song.
talk a little bit about it? Yeah.
Uh, it's a new one that I played at the Pork Fest, Porcupine Freedom Festival, and it's called MK Culture. And yeah, it's about everything we've been talking about. It's about the nature of, I think, the broad stroke of the way that the powers that be, if you will, use culture and industry to steer things in a certain direction to try and uh, manipulate that reaction, divide and conquer, those types of mentalities. And so it's, I guess, almost like a somewhat of a warning or an acknowledgement of the fact that culture can do that. Hopefully this comes through all right. Deep fakes, the deep state, the red flags, the red tape, the dark sides, the thin line, the wrong side of history, the blue hairs, the red hats, the strawmen, the contracts, the old world, the new guard, the check marks, the tech gods, culture.
It's just the cult of culture. It's just another branch of Operation MK Ultra culture. The outlaws, the in-crowd, the limited hangouts, the chemtrails, the jet lag, the freak show, the freak flag, the crypto, the cold plunge, the cocaine, the gun runs, the hippies, the canyon, the 60s, and Manson culture. It's just the cult of culture. It's just another branch of Operation MK Ultra culture. Nature, nurture, trauma, torture. Nature, nurture, trauma, torture, culture. It's just the cult of culture. It's just another branch of Operation MK Ultra. Yeah, culture. It's just the cult of culture. It's just the cult of culture.
Holy shit, that was amazing.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. I know we have to end in 10-ish minutes or so, 9-ish minutes. But yeah, I love that song as well. I don't want to like have like a favorite song. Like every song's doing something different and there's no like hierarchy. But what I especially love about this song, I guess I'll say that, is this idea of and in Jeremy Locke's book End of All Evil, he talks about this idea of like culture as that it can be cult like. Now we have, positive and negative cultures, but obviously there's a predominantly negative one right now in our culture, and that, it's our job to cultivate and nurture a better, higher culture, one that's based in objective morality than in the one that's the sort of satanic one that we're in right now. So,
Right.
yeah, just so many layers to this song.
Yeah. It's like you said, it's that Hegelian dialectic, that cult, like as we kind of, I think a lot of people, probably most people listening to this podcast know good and well, if you're still under the mentality that if you vote left or if you vote right, it's going to make some sort of better impact if your team's in charge, versus you being in charge of your own life and autonomy, then I think that, maybe you have somewhat of a cult type of thinking, because it wasn't set up by you. It was it's been structured and built. But that doesn't take away from the aspects of, like I just said, it takes a village, and the systems thing that you were just mentioning, everything is involved in some degree that we live together in a culture. And that's why to practice the discernment of letting how we connect to our culture be the main realm of that golden rule, as my wonderful bandmate and good friend Mike Miranda has a song, Free State of Mind, where he says, I want the thoughts in my head to be mine. And I think that that's what I'm trying to do in terms of this song is that, just those little phrases of like, like the hippies, the canyon, 60s, Manson, the cocaine and the gun runs, and like the way that these things, if you know history and I'm learning. I mean, I'm just a songwriter. I know so very little. I'm in diapers in terms of learning about a lot of things. So, but yeah, like the way culture's been used has against us. Yeah, MK Operation MK Ultra. That's all that stuff.
Yeah, I think that, collectively we've been in a giant satanic ritual MK Ultra experience of, valuing people through, a monetary lens, having government mind control our actions, and to the point where we allow and even, uh, sort of uplift the theft. Oh, but
Mm.
I'm a good taxpayer, like, and just the miseducation of the youth. I mean, it's just so many levels. But like you said, like I think, we collectively can also choose a different, newer, more evolutionary system. And this festival, um, encompasses that. Sarah Cross, who runs Crosstalk, wants to promote Soundpath in your work. So you just got an invite to another interview. So I can connect you guys. Um, anyway,
Cool.
closing thoughts. What do you want? What do you feel called to share with our audience right now, Brendan?
I had to close the windows because the dog started barking. Let's see, closing thoughts. Yeah, I don't know. We covered a lot of ground. I feel like that was a really great interview. It was very cool to meet you in St. John. That was awesome. You guys are really cool people. I've met just so many cool people. I guess if anything, it's the meeting. The reason that I have any of these songs actually out there in the ether, so to speak, in the collective conscience for people to be able to access, is because I had faith in the part of myself that I don't even know if faith is the right word, but I was courageous enough to engage with the part of myself that I didn't know was going to be received positively. And I put myself out there regardless of what the outcome was going to be. And that led to me being in the exact right place at the exact right time, which was at that festival where I met Mike, who had, there's the little self that has control and can see so much of what's going on. And then there's kind of like this other thing that's got a bird's eye lens but it requires that you use your free will to kind of do the scary thing. And I guess that's what's led me to be in this seat right now. And to be able to meet such wonderful people and actually be encouraged in a way that at the time when I had set that intention, I was very, very, very discouraged. So just following through with that has been incredibly rewarding, even though it doesn't feel like it at times. It's moments like this that I remind myself that you're exactly where you need to be. This thing kicked off at 11:11, so it's all just whoever's hearing this, you're right where you need to be. That's it.
I don't want to go into it too much, but on a personal level, a lot of what you shared hit me. It's been like challenging to do the one great work. And there are certain like periods of like discouragement that I have felt. And I just continue moving forward through painful experiences because I do have a certain, like you said, level of faith that like if I continue to align myself with like nature and with, objective morality, that like, you know, we can all co-manifest and co-create a actual, you know, situation where humanity is not in the current state of mind control it's in. And like I've been feeling it on a microcosmic as well as macrocosmic level. And like um your future self now talking to your past self actually was something that I needed in the present, because I'm having trouble connecting with my future self. And so thank you for that gift.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. And we will keep these interviews going.
Yeah.
Brendan Daniel is music is your website.
Yeah, BrendanDanielMusic.com. You can find me, Brendan Daniel Music. Just spell it BrendanDaniel, and add music, and that'll help, lead the algorithms in the right direction. And yeah, it was really cool to be here, and I'm looking forward to the end of January, the end of this month, at Soundpath in Oaks, Pennsylvania, right?
Yes, Oaks, Pennsylvania, August 31st,
That's
8 to
great.
11 p.m. Feel free to talk to whoever you need to if you want to add any people, and we'll get that going.
Great. Thank you very much.
Okay, and thanks to everyone who was able to join us for this impromptu live stream. I was like, "You want to do a live stream, Brendan?" And he was just like, "Down." I fucking loved it.
Yeah, the way to go. Yeah, thanks
all right.
everybody.
Bye.
See you later.